Turn me into Clifford.
Sentry's introduction to the MCU is a huge deal. He's too powerful.
It'd be easier to corral the superhero community if you were the strongest member of it.
And I hope that Marvel recognized that. Greetings, Palaxians! Today on the Bounty Board, we're theorizing about Marvel's next movies, Thunderbolts, and Captain America: Brave New World. So kick up that warp drive and let's punch it.
Welcome back to the Guardians of the Palaxy podcast, everybody. My name is MT, and I'm here with two of my wonderful, amazing pals, Whitney and Brett. What's going on, gang?
Hi, hello. What's going on is that I have a very important Tommy update to give everybody.
How's he doing?
Dude, as he was flying through space over the weekend, his convoy got attacked by the creatures.
The creatures?
The creatures had never seen corkboard before, and the entire spacecraft was made out of corkboard. And so the creatures started attacking. They started ripping chunks out of the space convoy. Tommy didn't know what to do. He had to save his men. So he got in his bubble wrap suit. That's right, because the people on Tommy's planet only use materials like corkboard, bubble wrap, and foam to defend themselves.
Is he from FedEx Planet?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he does. He comes from
Planet
basically
Kinko's?
Yeah, he comes from Planet Kinko's copies. Yeah, so it turned out that Tommy was able to save his entire convoy, didn't lose a single man in space, not a single one. More than Elon Musk can ever say. And I just appreciate everything that Tommy is doing to keep his home world safe, to keep us safe. Pals, in the comments, thank Tommy for his service. Thank him for saving the world.
Seriously.
Tell him, wish him some luck on his journey. He's going to need it for the next fight against the creatures. And we wish him the best. We really do. We can't wait to have him back Earthside.
Yo, Tommy, you're the new Star-Lord. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't care what anybody says. Tom Lord.
Star-Lord plus Han Solo meshed into one amazing being.
Meshed into one man. And that man is Tommy Bechtold, Space Invader, Space Crusader.
Space Ranger.
Space Crusader.
Space, I'll see you later.
This week, we're going to be talking about some trailers, gang. Some Marvel trailers.
I am so hyped. I am so hyped.
Okay, out of Brave New World and Thunderbolts, what are you hyped for the most?
Don't make me choose between my two babies. Don't make me choose.
I think Brave New World.
Okay,
Yeah.
Brave New World.
I really don't think that I can choose, because to me, this is just like seeing those two trailers one after the other. I was like, oh my God, we're getting a sequel finally to Falcon and Winter Soldier in these two movies. That's what this is. And
basically,
I got so hyped because I was just like, oh yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier round 2, baby. 2 different movies, 2 different times. Let's go. Like, I am so excited.
it's been such a long time since Falcon and Winter Soldier, yeah?
Dude, it's been
I feel like
so
it's been like a
long.
zillion years.
4 years, I think.
I thought it was great. I think that we should probably, maybe we should do a rewatch before the movie comes out. Pals, let us know if you'd like to hear our thoughts on the old Falcon Winter Soldier.
Seriously. Oh man, maybe we'll see the Flag Smashers again. Everyone's favorite villains, the Flag Smashers. I did like their cause, but the execution was kind of rough. But it's all good.
It didn't nail the landing.
Personally, for me, I'm more excited for Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Even though I am excited for Brave New World a whole lot, because Sam Wilson Cap, that's going to be amazing. But Thunderbolts just feels like Guardians of the Galaxy, but on Earth.
Yeah.
It just has that vibe. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really in the mood for a found family type of film again. Guardians is my favorite. So it's just I like the vibe of what it's got going on.
This is a deep cut inside joke for any fans of MT and I. But the second that I saw him come on screen, you know what I yelled? Johnny Mayonnaise!
Johnny Mayonnaise is
Johnny
back.
Mayonnaise, baby. He's back
Oh
in
my
action.
God.
We are seeing the follow-up to Johnny fucking Mayonnaise finally. And I could not be more hyped. As soon as I saw the trailer, I started dying laughing because I was like, I can't wait for MT and I to talk about Johnny Mayonnaise again.
It's about to be the Johnny Mayo era once again.
Hell yeah. Get your knives ready to spread that mayo, boys and girls. Let's get into
I have
it.
a dogfight going on right now?
Fight.
That's Pugsley and Gracie. They like to do little fights, but they're more lovers than fighters.
I love them. They're so cute. Out of all of the Thunderbolt members, which Thunderbolt is your favorite?
I gotta go with my girl Yelena. I gotta go with her, man.
She is great.
She has
I
the most
love
charisma.
her. She is so funny. She's like, yeah, you were Captain America, but for like 2 seconds. I was like, hell yeah, girl.
I'm a big Red Guardian fan myself. I think he's hilarious. I love them together, Yelena and Red Guardian.
Me too.
They're just goofy goofs. But yeah, this is very much, seems like it's Val's doing, assembling all of these random people that are associated with Val. Like, I think that's like the common thread between all these members, but I don't know. But like, it seems like like a group of people have been set up by some entity to take a job where they basically assassinate each other, or like maybe they all get murdered in that room. Where like maybe that room just like is supposed to explode or get set ablaze. Then they all end up teaming up to maybe just take down Val, it seems, who has bought Avengers Tower, which is
that's the big reveal, right?
That's the big old deal that we've been trying to figure out. Who owns Avengers Tower? And I don't know. I always thought it was gonna be Val. How about you guys?
I mean, like I don't even think Marvel Studios knew what they were gonna do.
Fair.
That's fair.
Like,
they probably didn't.
It was probably going to be a Kang thing, like a Kang Tower type of deal. But then, like, they shifted plans. So they just like decided, like, hey, since Val is like going to be like the new Nick Fury-esque figure for a little while, like, might as well just give it to her.
I think that Kevin Feige was like, bring me a big bowl filled with people's names. And then he reached it and he grabbed it and he was like, Val owns Avengers Towers, everybody.
It was decided by raffle.
Yeah, it was decided by raffle.
Imagine he picked up Korg first or something like really weird like that. It's like, it's Korg's tower now.
It's going to Meek.
The Meek Tower. That's exactly what the MCU needs.
He pulls out the name Tiamat, and it turns up that that's what the big bald baby's been up to: real estate.
So over the course of this Thunderbolts narrative, Bucky is going to be coming across these people that apparently being set up by some entity. I'm just wondering exactly why Bucky fires the disc thing from Winter Soldier at the van, and how he gets involved, I guess, is what I'm wondering. Because it's kind of crazy that he wasn't in that room with all them, because you'd think that like he'd be another big person, I don't know, to be in that room. I don't know.
A wild card that comes in out of left field. That's what Bucky offers to the situation. He's a man who has been learning and studying about the band Nirvana for the last 2 years. That's where he's been this whole time. Steve told him to look up Nirvana. He did. It was in his little notebook. And he just became a really intense Kurt Cobain stan. And now he's finally ready and back in action.
True. And he's another Bob on the team, because everyone's got Bobs for some reason. Yeah. He's got a Bob. Yelena's got a Bob. We have an actual Bob. A man named Bob.
A real
So
Bob.
it's just the Suicide Bobs. Suicide Bob Squad.
Bob Squad.
So how do you guys think that this narrative is going to connect to previous narratives? Like, how does Thunderbolts resolve what has been set up in the past? So how is it going to be a continuation of Black Widow or Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Do you think those narratives are going to connect at all?
Well, I think that probably the most obvious answer is that Val is building a team, because Val's kind of evil and she wants to have all of these disgraced superheroes on her side so that she can manipulate them further to do her bidding, because they've all been burned by the system, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. Obviously Johnny Mayonnaise got burned because they tried to make him Captain America. Did not work out. He murdered a bunch of people on live television. Not great optics. So he's out. And then, you have the Red Guardian. He and Yelena have that history together from the Black Widow movie. So they have that sort of thing that needs to that's their reason kind of for being recruited by Val, is because she knows that they do have that training and that they do have those specialties. But Red Guardian has kind of been like neglected by the system. He's not a person that they, support and care about. So I think that having Val approach him,
well, he's literally an enemy agent.
Yeah, he's just an enemy. Yeah. So like I think that having Val approach him and be like, no, you can be with these good guys. I think that she's convincing all of them to form a team so that she can manipulate their weaknesses and their insecurities and make them into her perfect team of like murdering super soldiers, basically. But I think that they all figure that shit out at some point and they're like, fuck you, Val. And then they combine forces and they save the day. That's my theory.
Hey.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like it's like a Suicide Squad kind of plot, obviously.
The Suicide Bobs.
But the Suicide Bobs. It seems like they were like, okay, we're just going to tell them all that there's millions of dollars at stake. They can clear their name. They just need to go take out a target in this location and they all just fight. And then we get rid of all of these assholes that we're worried about because they're super powered soldiers that are wild cards in our book. In terms of like continuation, I think the biggest through line probably is going to be the emotional beats between Yelena and the Red Guardian. And I think Whitney kind of brought this up. I think there's definitely going to be like some found family stuff between the two of them. We're probably going to see Yelena and Alexei reunite and like come to terms with each other in a way that's more wholesome than where they even left off in Black Widow, which has been a while since I've seen, but I'm pretty sure they were all just like, all right, now that we took out the Red Room, we're all just going to scatter into the wind.
Speaking of both Red Guardian and Yelena, well, I guess starting with Red Guardian, it's very interesting to me that Val and like people don't really know who the Red Guardian is, even though he swears that he's been this like big Russian agent in the past who has fought Captain America. But it seems like nothing that he actually says is actually in line with reality. Mm-hmm. So like, I have this weird feeling that like we're going to find out over the course of this movie that like he might have been affected by Melina's experiments with memory, or I don't know, with like maybe those his experimentations, his whatever he did with the past Russian stuff. They gave him like a fake past and a fake history to motivate him to do things for them, making him believe that he was a hero, but he was actually just a hired agent to do their bidding on on the low. All these people involved in this Thunderbolts narrative, it seems like Val's trying to like cover up her tracks of like, we need all these people killed because they know too much. Like, Ghost has killed so many people, Winter Soldier has killed so many people. And I feel like Hydra is the main connective tissue to all of these characters. Bucky, Ghost, I don't know. It just feels like Hydra is going to be revealed to be like, hey, we're the real bad guys. Haha. Like in the shadows. It's Val. Val, she's part Hydra. I find it very interesting that no one knows Red Guardian's history. Yelena, the thing that I'm very interested to see about her character in this movie is that she seems very empty inside. Like she's like going through the motions. She's just dead inside. And like I'm very curious to see how that hole in her is like filled with like the love of her friends.
Yeah, the thing that's missing from her life, right, is like family, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
I do think after like we're sort of like laying it out, it sounds to me like Red Guardian's going to be the final kill on the team, and he's going to have the hero moment, self-sacrifice by the end. Because I think that
would be sad.
I think that brings his character full circle. And it's like, it's not like we really need him for Secret Wars.
But he's funny.
He's going to lead the Avengers. What are you talking about?
He fought Demogorgons in the Upside Down. Put some respect on his name.
You don't want to see Red Guardian on the Midnight Suns? What are you talking about, bro?
Come on, man.
I'm just saying the writing's on the wall.
That's for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of deaths in the movie, a lot of people are guessing that Taskmaster gets offed pretty quickly because they are not in many shots in this trailer.
That would be a bummer.
Yeah, Taskmaster went through a lot.
But everyone hates the character because it's not a one-to-one comic adaptation. So,
but I can definitely see that happening for sure, especially since Secret Wars is coming very soon. They could like kill that character off now, much like they've killed Thor's besties, the Warriors 3, and then just bring everybody back, all the characters that they want back after Secret Wars, and be like, all right, recasting. Here's your Taskmaster that you wanted the whole time. Here's the new Warriors 3 without the purple crayon man who doesn't like vaccines. They can recast anybody that they want.
Do you feel like it's like a cop-out, though, to like not try to make the character work and instead just like clear them off the slate?
Yes, 100%. I think that like they could have definitely made the character work as they were. I feel like Marvel's in this weird like panic mode in terms of like, we have to, give these angry nerds what they want, exactly how they want it. So like all the, the fun experiments that they were going to do early Disney Plus era with like all these new projects, they're going to be less likely to do. I feel like they might just gender swap Taskmaster back to a male, which is a bummer. I don't know. I feel like they could have definitely evolved that character because like she was basically newborn baby. She's like, I'm free from my papa.
So
like
fresh,
I can be whatever I want.
Recently born.
I don't think they need to flip the gender back. I think the biggest issue with Taskmaster for me was that she didn't really exhibit like those photographic reflexes.
Exactly.
Right.
Key to the character in the comics. I do think if they reboot the character, and maybe just even in this movie as well, giving the stunt actor the chance to use classic moves from Captain America, from Black Widow, these like iconic moments that we've seen in other films redone by Taskmaster is going to go a long way into sort of like fixing the public perception of the character. But yeah, I don't think they need to completely sign over the character to the angry side of the fandom.
Yeah, and I just really think that like so much of this, like MT mentioned, so much of this is just a symptom of Marvel trying to go way too big, way too fast, like all at once. And I do think that a lot of care was left out of certain characters because they were just trying to pump stuff out so fast. I think that that's why like some of these Disney Plus shows are kind of hit and miss. I think that that's why some of the latest movies have been kind of hit and miss in certain areas. And I'm hoping that by recognizing that and deciding to like actively slow down and put more care into their projects, if they put as much care into, for example, Brave New World and Thunderbolts and future projects like that, if they put as much care into those as they just put into Agatha, I think that we are on a really good path for rehabilitating some of these characters that people don't like as much. We are rehabilitating their image by mixing in a little more love, baby, a little more love, a little more creativity.
Yeah, creative vision is the key, right?
Exactly.
Knowing what
100%.
you're doing with the characters and doing it intentionally is the key.
And I hope that Marvel like recognized that, and I do think that on some level they must have, because Agatha was so amazing. I mean, unless that was just Jack Schaefer's a total genius, which she is, and that show just rocks. But I also think that I think that Marvel has been listening and knows that we weren't super, super stoked about a lot of the multiverse saga. And I have high hopes. I do. I think that the MCU is a really creative property. They do produce amazing shows and amazing movies that we all clearly love so much. Even their shitty ones are still good. I still love the shitty ones, So I don't know. I have a lot of high hopes that we're kind of like starting to re-enter the era of the MCU that we were in a few years ago, like with Endgame. I think that we're going back to that, and I'm hyped.
I do think that we're seeing sort of that actually culminate in like Ghost, for example.
Yeah.
Because everyone's super hyped about the choreography of Ghost catching that knife and throwing it back and like actually like utilizing what's cool about that character and breathing new life into Ghost. This is like a general note that I kind of got from watching both trailers. It does feel like in general, these movies are going bigger action, comic booky, and losing what like grounded these sort of like human characters.
Right.
With the next trailer, like Captain America, he like falls out of the sky and lands on his knee and like causes a sonic boom. And I'm just like, he doesn't have the super soldier serum. His body would turn to dust if he did that.
I'm like, buddy, you're over 40. Your knees can't handle that kind of action. I'm 34 and my knees can barely handle that kind of action.
Well, like that's where the vibranium suit is for.
But like, I mean, he landed on his knee. Man, I don't know.
That would
I'm
hurt.
like suspending my disbelief. Whether I like it or not doesn't matter. I do think that it shows that there is a creative vision being put into practice with these future movies.
And I like that big cheesy comic booky stuff. I want to see him land on a knee. No knee pads, no nothing. Just do it because you're a superhero. I like that. I think that's going to be fun.
Sam drinks his milk. He has strong bones.
He has strong bones. Strong bone Sam is what they call him.
Real quick before we transition to Brave New World, I do want to talk about Sentry because he's going to be a big part of Thunderbolts. And like, a lot of people, a lot of people that don't read the comics don't really know about Sentry. Basically, he's probably the most powerful Marvel hero, or one of the most powerful Marvel heroes on the roster, and he's basically Superman. And I'm very curious to see what his origins are in the MCU, and if he was around like in the past, if like they sort of retconned him out of Avengers 1 or something like that, because in the comics, he sort of gets retconned out of the history of the Marvel heroes. Because Iron Man, the Fantastic Four, all the Avengers knew of this guy until I think it was Doctor Strange had to erase the memory of him from everyone's consciousnesses because of the influence of his other darker side, which is this entity called the Void. I'm wondering if the Void is going to be the final boss, because we've got to see the Void at some
100%.
point.
I think it's the final boss.
Give me that
Void.
Yeah.
I think the Void is going to be tearing up Thunderbolts.
If the Void does get introduced in this movie, I wonder if there's a chance that we might see Blade at some point, just be like, hey, that's a dark entity, or maybe at least the Sorcerers of Kamar-Taj being like, oh shit, we got to deal with this super dark thing. Sentry's introduction to the MCU is a huge deal, and whether or not, I'm very curious whether or not he's going to survive this movie to be, used as a character in other films, because he sort of breaks things in a way. He's too powerful to be on the MCU. I feel like the MCU was going to introduce Pietro in Age of Ultron. I was like, that man is not going to survive this movie because he solves too many problems. He's too fast and he's just too convenient for the Avengers. So going into Age of Ultron, I was like, he's a goner because there's no way.
Gonna die. He's too useful.
He's too useful.
So this is just the opposite of I became important at work and it's ruining my life. It's I became important at work and it's ending my life.
It's ending my life immediately in the first movie.
I mean, they kind of do something similar with Carol, right? Where they're like, oh, Captain Marvel is way more powerful than any other characters that we have on Earth. So we're just going to send Carol to space. She's dealing with space stuff. Don't worry about it.
Just like Tommy.
Yeah, just like Tommy.
He's just out in space. He's just solving problems. Tommy and Captain Marvel are very good friends.
But yeah, no, in the Marvels, they had to depower her by giving her that, hey, your powers are linked type of part. With characters Carol, the Vision, and all that, it's just really hard. Vision in Infinity War, they literally stabbed him in the back. It's all right, now you're weak, Vision. Now you can't help us. Oh man, and Charles Xavier in every X-Men movie, it's he's just taking a nap, or his powers are gone. They always have to do something to depower these super powerful characters. So I'm wondering if Sentry's gonna either die in this movie immediately, which would be a bummer, or if they actually commit to using Sentry down the road. That's just my thoughts on Sentry. Do you guys have any thoughts on Sentry? Or
no, I think that would be great. I wonder if there even is a way, like you said, with Vision, where it's okay, this is how we half nerfed Vision and then eventually nerfed him fully later. But I wonder if there is a way that in this movie they could bring his power down just a smidge to make him a little easier, because then he could stick around and it wouldn't be a huge plot hole to have him. So I don't know. I think it'd be fun to have him stick around as at least a semi-permanent character.
I think they could probably do a thing where they don't fully defeat the Void. And by the end of the film, he has somehow figured out how to contain it somewhat.
Ooh,
but if he uses his powers, if he unlocks whatever part of him that is the Sentry, the Void comes with that. So the character's not off the board, but he's essentially a panic button, a last minute nuke, kind of like Surtur and Ragnarok, right? Where they're just we gotta sacrifice this whole planet. So Void,
emergency glass break if necessary.
Take out all these Kangs or Dr. Dooms or whatever. Give Galactus some irritable bowel syndrome.
Give Galactus a real spanking that he'll never forget.
Oh my God. I would love to see Sentry versus Galactus. That'd be incredible.
Sick. Yeah. That'd be so
absolutely
sick.
Incredible.
Let's just call Kevin and see if he can do it for us. No biggie.
Speed dial Kevin. But yeah, Captain America: Brave New World. We have have Captain America and Mr. Thaddeus Ross, who was played by Harrison Ford this time around because of the passing of the previous actor, William Hurt. This is like a random theory straight off the bat. I have a feeling that his transformation into the Red Hulk is probably going to do with the Red Room and like the chemical that like the North Institute was using to like, you know, control minds and whatnot. Because like he was involved in that movie, like chasing Black Widow around, and he was at the wreckage of that whole shindig. So like maybe he grabs that chemical and maybe like grabs the leader and is like, hey, make me into strong man.
Make me into a big boy. Big red boy.
Big red boy.
Turn me into Clifford. Make me Clifford.
He just watches Clifford on PBS. He's like,
President Harrison Ford sits down, America's top scientist, pulls out a binder.
Yeah. It's all...
opens it up, and it's just a children's book of Clifford the Big Red Dog.
And he's like, can you make this happen? It's for America. We can build a better, bigger Clifford. Let's go.
Okay, hear me out. Hot Clifford. No, not like that.
Like he is actually like physically like steaming like in this trailer, like Red Hulk, like that, which is very comics accurate to like that, how, you know, the Red Hulk works in the comics. Yeah, I'm wondering, at what point does this guy get exposed to gamma? Like, is it like against his will?
Yeah, is it a choice or is it something that they like set him up?
It feels like it's a choice. Usually when it comes to comic book stories in general, the hero is the character that inadvertently is given powers and is thrust into herodom and superpowerdom. And it's the villain who seeks that power. So
and like chooses it.
Right.
So they are either the person that chooses to take the serum, or they're the person who is amassing all of this money to buy out Tony Stark and like build weapons that are even bigger and more powerful than Stark Enterprises. It seems like just by like tropes, he chooses to take it.
And I could see that based on the trailer, because obviously his big thing in the trailer is him being like, I don't want variables out there that I can't control. So I think that his version of control is giving himself the powers to stop whatever he perceives to be an external threat to him. So I wonder if he takes it like out of fear, because he's like, I am afraid I can't control this situation. We have all these other heroes flying around. Fucking new Captain America has fucking wings now. What do we do about that? And so I think he just is like, he's grasping at any amount of control because he's afraid, and he, you know, doesn't know what else to do. So I think that is most likely. However, I could also see a scenario, less likely in my opinion, but I could see a scenario in which the same terrorist group that was like, you know, attacking him and the whole thing with the glass shattering and they tried to kill him, that whole assassination attempt. I do wonder, it could, like a 3% chance could be that the terrorists kidnap the president and shoot him up with the serum to fuck him over politically. So I think that could be an option. It could be villains forcing it on him because he's a Hulk. It just gets out of hand. Like, even if the president wasn't like intending to be evil, I think that just the nature of suddenly being forced into a Hulk body would make you do some pretty dangerous, out of character things. So I think that it's most likely that he takes the serum to gain control. But I think there's like a very, very, very small chance that the terrorists give him the serum.
Yeah, I think the assassination attempt is probably the easiest answer. Right? Someone tries to assassinate him, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm going to become a Hulk, and then I can't be assassinated. I will just spit the bullets out.
Totally.
Another thought I had when you were talking was, I mean, it would be easier to corral the superhero community. This is a character that was trying to push the Sokovia Accords. It'd be easier to corral the superhero community if you were the strongest member of it. And
ooh, good point.
The Avengers are really fractured right now. So it would make sense that like someone would be like, okay, I believe that the Sokovia Accords need to be pushed through as legislation. We'll change the name of the bill or whatever. But I'm also going to strong arm that by being the most prominent superpowered figure and sign it myself and then sort of force people to follow my lead.
That's interesting too.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. How about you, MT?
I have a feeling that we're going to see Ross slowly degrade into like this fearful person like Whitney mentioned. First, he's going to get the assassination attempt by Isaiah Bradley, courtesy of most likely the leader. And then second, he's probably going to lose his daughter, Liv Tyler's Betty Ross, who is going to be in this movie and hasn't been in the MCU since.
She's coming back?
Yes, which is super exciting because I love her.
That? Oh, hell yeah. Yes.
I love her.
Oh, I love Liv Tyler as Betty Ross. Hell yeah.
Like Betty Ross is literally one of the smartest scientists in the MCU. Like what she did to stabilize the gamma radiation in Hulk's blood is like, it's next level. Anyway, she's going to be in this movie. And throughout, the entirety of like every Hulk film, Ross is like super protective over Betty Ross because he doesn't want her to get hurt. But I think that like either Giancarlo Esposito's character is going to kill her or she's going to die in some way. And like that is going to push him over the edge to being like, well, if I can't protect my daughter, I can't protect this country. So I got to juice up myself to, make sure that I can be the person. Because like, we have no Steve Rogers and like, this new Captain America is not listening to me. So like, I got to do what I got to do.
The new Captain America isn't taking the serum.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the serum.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. That's a really good point. Yeah. Oh, you guys are both so smart. I love you guys. You're great.
Yeah, I think it's right on the money, too, that Betty is at the core of who that character is. So that makes sense so that she would be motivation. It sucks to see someone get fridged.
I don't want her to die. Maybe she just gets hurt. Maybe she just gets a broken leg. And then her dad is like, not on my watch. I'm taking the serum. I don't want her to die. She's really cool and smart.
And like Betty's death would also be a catalyst for the Hulk to come back. Like the true Hulk out of Bruce Banner. Because like he still cares for Betty to some degree, even though he's been like sort of MIA from her for a very long time. But like that's understandable considering that he is the Hulk. That would definitely be like what helps the Hulk come out and like be like, hey, I should have been around. I shouldn't have been Smart Hulk for so long. Like I should have actually been around to save the people that I love. Because like, the Hulk hasn't really been the same since the loss of Natasha. I feel like that really hit him personally. Because like she was the few humans that actually cared about the Hulk as the Hulk entity as a separate being. And so like I think that losing her sort of like and like getting bodied by Thanos at the same time is just like, well, fuck.
And he found out he had a secret child.
Exactly.
That's gotta fuck you up on some level. A secret space child? That's not just like an ex-girlfriend of mine had a baby. No, an ex-girlfriend of yours in space had a baby. What?
Hulk fucks.
Hulk fucks.
I wonder if Scar views Bruce Banner as his uncle versus his actual dad, because the Hulk is his dad.
Interesting. Yeah.
But so like
true.
He's like, your Uncle Bruce and not actual dad
Puny
Bruce.
uncle.
Puny uncle.
Like I would love to see Hulk's dynamic with his son rather than like Bruce. Like to see how they parent differently, I guess, as two dads.
Oh, that would be really funny.
MT, do you have any theories about what they're doing with Isaiah Bradley and also Sidewinder? It seems like there's a lot of plot threads going on in this movie because this is also the one that's supposed to have all the vibranium from Tiamat too.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I don't really know what they're doing with those two characters. Do you have any theories?
I mean, I think that, this whole movie is going to be about a shift in global power, like a new types of arms race. Yeah. I think that Riri's machine that, basically gets into the hands of the government. Like now that like all these world leaders know where vibranium is around the world, they're probably going to be chasing sources of that to make like Wakanda type weapons for themselves, which completely changes like, how world powers are supposed to operate. If everyone has a nuke, then like you have to like up the stakes, which is why possibly why we have the introduction of Hulks in all that shit. Cause like, I think President Ross wants to be the strongest nation out of all. If everyone has like all these superpowered vibranium weapons, then like you have to up the stakes in a different way.
That's a really good point.
And that's where the leader comes in because he's all about the enhancement of humanity. Like if you rewatch the first Incredible Hulk movie, or the one from 2008 rather, like that's his main MO. Like that's all he wants to do is just, he wants to create a new world with no sickness, no death, and just like basically mutants. He was thinking about mutants before, mutants actually came around. So like, I feel like that's why Kevin Feige was sort of holding on to him until he got closer to the mutant saga, because like this is now where, enhanced individuals are coming out. I think Tiamat itself, it just changes the game for just the future of global politics.
But what does the Serpent Society have to do with it is my question.
Well, I think they got written out, right?
I mean, he's still playing the leader of the Serpent Society, though.
Oh,
he's
is
still
he? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his character's Sidewinder.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it might be like a Hydra thing. I have no clue. Like
they crack open Tiamat and he's filled with snakes. Just full of them. Just completely filled. Just completely filled. And then as like the plane flies over Tiamat, you can just hear Harrison Ford yelling, "I hate snakes, Jack! I hate them!" And then that's why he takes the serum, is because he's like, dude, Indiana Jones can't do snakes, but Red Hulk can. That's my headcanon.
Oh my God. I imagine Cersei like up in space and be like, they opened up the snakes. We got him.
They cracked open the snakes. Got him, boys.
Oh my God.
I'm looking now, and also McDonald's did a promo for this movie last year because this was come out last year.
Oh yeah.
They had contracts where they had to put stuff out. Diamondback, who is also a Serpent Society member, is in this movie as well.
Oh.
So they could have done rewrites and written them out, but the Serpent Society is a part of this movie in some bare bones way.
Very interesting.
I think the Serpent Society might be an entity hired by or influenced by the leader to help Harrison Ford's character grow more fearful for America and his daughter, and just in general. Just to make him more scared for the future of America. More terrorism stuff, whether it's Isaiah Bradley or his character. Like it's just to drive.
It's a catalyst, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
For government abuse of power, essentially. It's like, all right, since like all these people are attacking us, let's up the stakes, and we need vibranium weapons. We need superpowered people to combat these new types of threats in the world. I'm so interested to see if the leader has been manipulating so many other events in the shadows. Like, I wonder if the leader knew about Secret Invasion as a whole, and he was sort of the whole government xenophobia against aliens that might factor into President Ross's agenda as well. In Brave New World, because that the previous president basically just hey, it's hunting teasing on all scrolls essentially. So he'll probably carry that same platform into his own presidency. Do you guys think we'll see any Eternals at all at any point in this movie? I mean, not a lot on the planet.
That would be too good though. I would be too happy if they did that. I feel like the word on the street, right, is that they're not even trying to fuck with an Eternals too. So I don't know if they'll bring them back, but I want them to. I want to know what the fuck happens with those characters. The Eternals was honestly a really beautiful and well shot movie. It's gorgeous. And I know that when it first came out, I was kind of who are these guys? I didn't really know them that well.
I mean, that was most people, so it's totally fine.
Yeah, so it was kind of and when you think about when the Guardians first premiered, that was just a bang. They came on the scene. Everybody loved them. Huge splash. The Eternals, I don't think that people emotionally connected with them as much, but I really liked those characters. The more that I watched the movie and the more times that I studied it, I was like, oh no, this is actually very fucking cool. I would kill to see a lot of them again. Not Icarus. R.I.P. my man, burning alive in the sun. That guy bought our ad for solar therapy and took it a little too seriously. But I would really like to see Cersei again. I definitely want to see fucking Dane Whitman again, even though he's not an Eternal. He's still cool as hell. I want to see Kit Harington back. I want all that stuff. I would love if any one of them popped up in this movie. I just don't know if they will.
I think that there's a lot of, as I already said, there's a lot of characters in the air, and we also want to give screen time to Sam. So
this is true.
I think it's more likely we're gonna get like a cameo from like Doc Samson and like bring back some of like these Hulk characters.
Bro,
maybe.
if it's Phil Dunphy again, that would be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I think just a
that
cameo,
would be.
But like I think I think it's more likely that we'll see like the Hulk catalog get expanded on than the Eternals, and I think really I don't even know if Tiamat's going to be like that much of a focus of the movie.
Oh well, yeah. Obviously, once they realize he's full of snakes, I don't think he's going to be that important either.
I think Tiamat's going to be like the driving force and like where the climax is, but I don't know if they're going to like we're really going to get into like Eternals and Celestial lore in this movie.
Right. Wait, did they say Tiamat's going to be vibranium or adamantium?
Adamantium, I think, is what the rumors say.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true though, but that is the rumors.
So if that's the case, then like maybe Tiamat goes at some point during this movie, like because like adamantium is not really a super available resource, and Tiamat's this huge motherfucking beast. So like maybe something happens to Tiamat that like he disappears after like the government extracts like a little bit of Tiamat chunks out of him. It's like, all right, now he's gone. We only have this little chunk for Wolverine. So, all right, here you go, Wolverine. And then he gets his cool vibranium
They
claws.
just have the tip of Tiamat's pinky, and they're like, here you go, Wolverine. This is for you, buddy.
Put it in the Canadian man.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Only the middle finger remains. And it's just like,
who did this? Who did this, guys? Come on.
One possibility or like a reference that we could see in this movie is the introduction of the Savage Land to the MCU, because I believe in the Marvel Comics, a deposit of vibranium is located somewhere in that like Antarctic region of like where the Savage Land is. So like if Riri's machine is available to the US government, then maybe they'll come across the Savage Land and be like, oh shoot, it's Jurassic Park in this bitch. And then like, jump into there.
Oh shit, it's Jurassic Park in this bitch. That's just the opening line of the movie. God, I hope so. God, I fucking hope so. Hilarious.
Get a devil dinosaur out of it.
Exactly. Like, it would be such a fun
Bring
way
live
to like
action devil dinosaur and moon girl.
Yes.
Fuck yes. Give me that.
Like, I feel like that's got to be on Kevin Feige's radar. Like the introduction of the Savage Land, Devil Dinosaur, and characters like Kazar, and Shauna She-Devil. Like, I really want a Shauna She-Devil like movie. Like, skip Kazar completely.
Not gonna happen.
I know.
Pitch me.
Hey, a boy can dream. Let this boy dream.
Listen, it's a wet dream, but it's a dream.
An extremely wet dream, for the love of God.
Pitch me on it.
I think that she wouldn't be as scantily clad as she usually is in the comics, but like I think like a female Tarzan type of character would be fucking rad.
That would be rad.
Like, I think like you should completely like replace Kazar with Shanna and like, give her like the big saber-toothed cat and like, that's just a cool character, and like have her run around NYC. Like, it'd just be cool. Very, very out of left field, but like we could get a reference at the very least.
That could be so cool. I would love that. Bring dinosaurs to the MCU, you cowards, to the live action MCU.
But that'll also like sort of pave the way for like if they wanted to use the High Evolutionary at some point during the Mutant Saga. He could because like he has some association with the Savage Land. He's been there. He's experimented there because like he's like, oh, this is a weird like area of like evolution. I need to see what's going on here. I personally want the High Evolutionary to be the Thanos big bad of the Mutant Saga, and like they just do like a whole evolutionary war scenario because like that is a High Evolutionary centric event for the Marvel Comics. Anyway, I think he was just too good in Guardians 3.
He was so good in Guardians 3.
So good. like the most terrifying villain I can think of is one that harms animals, and oh god, I fucking hated that guy. I hated that guy, and that's why it was just it was a great character. You want your villains to inspire visceral hate inside of the viewers, and I genuinely fucking hate that guy, not the actor, the character, and like they did such a great job getting me to fucking hate him.
Captain America: Brave New World. I hope that like I'm hearing some like conflicting, obviously reports you take them with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like the word on the street is like Marvel is struggling with like getting like the story 100% ironed out. And, hopefully they can like, reach the finish line. All right. Because like, this is a really big movie. Like this is Sam Wilson's first Captain America movie. There's a lot of like baby cries on the internet being like, oh, not my Cap. But like, come on, man. He's Captain America now. He has the blessing of Steve Rogers. The other one's dead.
What are you going to do? What are you going to fucking do? He's dead. Like, this is your Captain America now.
Gone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's gone. Yeah, he's just like a 105-year-old man in space. He's also helping Tommy, coincidentally.
Exactly.
It's Tommy,
he's out in
Scar,
space.
and...
Tommy is like out with like the whole Avengers out in space.
All
pretty
of
much.
them. All of them.
Do you guys think that like Captain America is going to be like a prequel to Thunderbolts at all?
Yeah, I don't think so, because it just feels like a lot of these plot lines are so like separate from each other. We might get a reference, but like a very small, like, oh, the president's a Hulk now kind of thing. But like,
hey, did you guys hear that the president's a Hulk now?
No
way.
Yeah.
So weird.
Just in passing, but like, I don't think they're tying all of these threads together yet. They should be, but I don't think they are.
I kind of think it's impossible for them not to, though, because like I said up top, this feels like a continuation of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I do think that like some element has to tie together, because we are seeing the branches of what happens after those two guys finished repairing that boat. They had a little boat party, and now here we are. So I think that at the very least there will be like connective tissue, but I don't think that it's like, oh, if you watch one before the other, you'll be totally lost because they're the same like storyline. Like, I don't think it's like that. I think it will be like a one-line reference or something like that. But I do think that they will be somewhat connected.
We'll definitely see Val in both. I feel like that'll be
Val's
like the main connective
both.
tissue there.
Do you think it's gonna be a prequel?
I think it'll be a light prequel, like a very like, like much like Whitney said, it's just like, all right, this happened directly before Thunderbolts, and like Val is sort of like taking this experience and like bringing it to the Thunderbolts and being like, hey, that happened. Thaddeus Ross did his thing, and now you're my secret Avengers team that like the government secretly wants to go do evil missions and whatever. But I don't know. We'll see. I think it'll be like if not a direct sequel, like maybe tangentially happening with Brave New World. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as MT. Like, I think they'll be connected, but not like so much that you're lost if you don't see one or the other first.
Right. But yeah, I'm very excited for both of these projects, man. Like, we're going to be eating good.
We're going to be eating so well in 2025. I cannot wait.
What do you guys think is going to happen in Thunderbolts and the Captain America Brave New World? Let us know in the comments.
I thought you were asking. Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
I was like, Brad, I just spent an hour telling you what I think is going to happen in those movies.
Trying to wrap it.
What do you mean?
Okay, gotcha. Yes, please let us know what you guys think are going to happen to these two movies down in the comment section down below, because we want to hear from all of you.
We want to hear from all of our pals. And just before we sign off for the day, I just want to say that we know here in the Palaxy that the last couple of weeks may have been pretty stressful and pretty hard for some of you. It was for us. I'm sure you know that. And we just want to let our pals know that we really do love you guys. We are thinking about you guys. Every time you leave a comment on one of our videos, it really makes our day. We feel so lucky that we have such a supportive and inclusive community. For the most part, everyone is so kind and so positive. And so we just want to just really quickly reiterate that the Palaxy will always be a place where we support women, we support people of color, we support queer people and trans people, people from anywhere in the world, people of all religions. We just want you guys to know that you have a safe space to come here and unwind, listen to us talk about some dumb superhero shit when you're feeling stressed. We really love you guys, and we hope that Palaxy can kind of bring you a little joy in these dark times. It's bringing me a lot of joy in these dark times. We appreciate you guys.
Ditto.
Yeah.
What Whitney said. Ditto. We love you guys so much. Please take care of each other, and things will be okay. Like, things might be a little rough for a while, but like, we'll be all right in the end. If we just stick together and just rely on our friends and family, we'll be all right. We'll be okay.
We'll figure it out.
One
We have
hopes.
pals. Be good to your pals. Check in on your pals. Love your pals. And we will see you guys, our pals. Bye.
Bye, guys.
We're going to do Penguin. I promise.
I promise we'll do Penguin.
Newt,
I'm sorry. We will.
Newt gang, stand up.
Newt.